What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Based on where we're at, everybody's a bit on the inside, so it's not a typical Saturday. But I'm excited that this is the week number one of our Leaders Are Readers book club here at YLC. I'm not sure if any of you all had the opportunity to click in on yesterday for the Quarantines Got Talent, but it was an amazing time. It was some amazing gifts, some amazing talents. But today, we are with the people who don't just want to have the talent, but they want to read to make themselves even better. You know what we're going to ask you to do. I need you to press the share button. Even before you press share, I want to know where you're tuning in from. I've been in contact with several of you all who have told me that you got the book, that you've been reading the book, that you're excited about what we have going on here. Let me make sure I got it right. There we go. So I want you to let me know where you're tuning in from, and also go ahead and press the share button because we want as many people to join us that can. Now, if you're tuned in, if you came in and you have not read the book, that's okay. Stay, and still press share. If you're tuning in and you don't even know what book we're reading, that's okay. I still need you to stay, and I still need you to press the share button. So after you do that, let me know where you're tuning in from. It is Saturday afternoon. This is the book club. It's not the big, preaching moment, but I do believe that we're going to have some young leaders out there who are excited about furthering their self-development, their self-improvement, because we know that leaders are readers, right? We know that leaders are readers. Now, I'm getting ready to bring in one of my special guests so that we can get started in our conversation today. Well, let's see. This is our book. This is what we are reading. The Texas is in the building. Awesome. South Carolina is in the building. Colorado. Okay. I see you coming in here now. Great. So awesome. Our leader and visionary, he didn't put where he's from, but he put let's go. So if he's tuning in by default, we know Atlanta's in here, Cincinnati, New Jersey. This is good. Awesome. Listen, if you have the book, great. If you don't have the book, still stay in. Antoine, I may have you come on and do I can't do a sermonic solo because we ain't preaching today, we're just reading. But it's always good to see you, my brother and my friend. I pray everything is good your way. We're getting ready to get into the happiness of pursuit. The happiness of pursuit. Let me know just by the raising of the hand emoji. I want everybody to stay. But if you have actually purchased the book and you've read it, if you've read at least the first page, give me the hand real quick. Wave your hand, raise your hand, and let me know that you're going to be interactive with us. Once again, even if you have not read the book, I still want you to stay on. This is why, because some of the nuggets and the wisdom that's in this book is going to change your life. And hopefully, if you have not started reading, after our discussion today, you're going to want to go pick it up. And we're doing just chapter 1 through 3. Next week, we're going to do just 4 through 6. So if you get motivated to such a degree that you want to pick the book up and hop on and join us next week, that's fine. You only got 6 chapters to read, and then you will be able to join us. So we're getting ready to get into this book, The Happiness of Pursuit. The Happiness of Pursuit. Wow, quite a few of you all are raising your hands. That's good news because we're reading this together. Great. Well, enough of me talking. Press the share button. You let me know where you're coming from. Now I need you to get out your study notes, get out your highlighter, whatever. Are you guys, let me ask you that question first before we actually get into this. Do you highlight your book? Do you highlight, or do you underscore with the pen? Do you kind of underline with the pen, or are you a highlighter? Let me ask that question. This is going to be interactive. I want to ask you questions. I want to get some answers. Do you like to highlight certain passages or quotes or the good parts, or do you like to just take the pen and underline it. Which one are you? Let me know. All right, Cynthia says she does both. Miss Newman, she says she does both. You know what? I'm glad that you all said that. You highlight. I do both as well. So when I got further into it, you can see some, some pen underneath. But chapter 1 was so good to me. Let me go over here to chapter number 1. Chapter 1 was so good. I was highlighting in sticky notes and bent pages. Man, bent pages saves everything, because when you're done and you have to go back and figure out where you left off, that bent page is. I'm a multicolor highlighter. So do you have so you have multiple colors highlighting? Do you use a special color for a special meaning? Okay? You're a real reader. I love it. Does yellow mean one thing and a blue highlight means another? Anthony Page, God bless you, man. Good to see you, sir. You're a highlighter, multicolor highlighter. I love it. Let's get ready to get into you underline key phrases. Dope. When it's too much, I don't just underline. I just kind of do a little scribble, or I just put 2 brackets on each side, so I don't have to keep on going back and forth. You write in the book as well. Awesome. So some of us like bam, bam, bam. We type, we get notes on our iPad. The others of us, we actually write notes in the book. Highlight, write, sticky notes. Dr. Matisa Wilburn, you may need to come on here and do a tutorial on us how to not just read, but how to make sure you're in the right place. I'm making some sticky notes. I'm not the sticky note guy. I'm not the sticky note guy, but you all have pushed me. I may be the sticky note guy. So listen, I asked you to press the share button, but to stay in tune to everything that we're doing here at YLC TV, also press the subscribe button. If we have anybody watching us in YouTube land right now, this is the Saturday service. I don't know if we do 2 locations on Saturday or if we just do the Facebook location. But even if you're on Facebook, go to YouTube after this. Wait, because I want y'all to hang out with me for a little bit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get into chapter number 1. Before we do that, we're in 2 locations today. Man, so YouTube, you already know. If you're watching, subscribe. Facebook, when this is over, go to YouTube and press the subscribe button as well. So I'm hoping everybody shared. If you did not, go. I release you right now. I've been given power from the presider to tell everybody to go share. And let's get ready to get into this discussion. So it's not going to just be me talking. I have an amazing friend and brother on the line today who is going to discuss chapter 1 with us. And we're going to go ahead and bring him on right now. Pastor Joseph Manaway. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, fam? It's good to see you, bro. How's everything?
Man, everything is good. Everything's good. It's better now because I got you on the screen with me. It's better now.
I appreciate it, man. I'm honored by the invitation and just glad to be with you, man. So thank you for extending the invitation to be able to be with you this Saturday morning. Well, afternoon for y'all. It's still morning where I am.
I was just about to ask you. I'm about to ask you because it's 1 p.m. for us. It's 1 p.m. for us. But for where you are, what time is it?
It's 10:13 a.m. where I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it over really here on the West Coast.
It really is Saturday morning for you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I feel good though. All is well, man.
Awesome. Well, listen, man. I have you on here. And I reached out to you. Let me just say this as well, because you're an amazing preacher.
Praise God.
You're not just an amazing preacher. You're a studied preacher. It's not just fluff. So I know you're a reader, but without even asking you, without even going on your page I know that you are a reader just because of the content that you give us in your messages. So we're getting ready to jump into chapter number 1. When I was thinking about chapter number 1, it's almost like he really, our author, Chris, he really set the stage for us. We got international guests. My sister Jasmine.
6 p.m. Okay. Wow.
So we have 6 p.m. and we got 10:30 a.m. This is great. I
It's
felt
time for
like
dinner where she is.
right. It's breakfast. You eating breakfast. I'm eating lunch, and she getting ready for supper time.
That's incredible, man. Shout out to the YLC community everywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, chapter 1, it felt like he was really kind of setting the stage and kind of giving us kind of clarity on what this book is going to be about. As he began to deal with quest. I'm not sure about you, but what kind of was the main theme or kind of the main point that you got out of chapter number 1 of our book? What's kind of one of the things that you got out of that chapter number 1?
Well, honestly, Louis, one of the main things, or one of the first things, not main things, one of the first things that stuck out to me from chapter 1 was when he was talking about his travels and his quest to, get to all continents and all countries for that matter, and being in coffee shops and talking to people and discussing, why everyone, was journeying and traveling to these specific cities and countries, and how he says that there were differences. And I even made note. It says that the challenge itself, the ambition of the pursuit, and the desire to do whatever it took to keep going, that was the common thread. That he found out that there was a common thread between he and all the other travelers. He says some walked, some cycled, and some sailed, but he flew an airplane. And so it immediately made me think of, YLC and our moniker of, ministry, marketplace, and media. I know I probably got them out of order, but no matter what area you find yourself in, or no matter what the quest is for you specifically, the common thread is all of us are on a journey to be great in some way or another. So just having that thread of greatness, that was one thing that stood out to me, and that all of us are on a quest in one way or another.
And I think also as we deal with quest, and what you said was phenomenal, I like how he defined what a quest was, and how it not being, in the beginning, he talks about, let me see here. He says, losing weight, getting out of debt, lifestyle changes, they're worthy pursuits, but they shouldn't be a lifelong focus. They are not exactly a quest. So this kind of got me thinking. It got me thinking, and I don't want to just talk to Pastor Manuel. I want to talk to those in the comment section as well. What is my quest? Like, what is the long-term journey that I think I'm going to be on? Because a lot of times our generation, and you can give me your thoughts, we're big on lifestyle change, which is a lot of a short, quick, but a impactful change. But I like how he defined what a quest was, because it's not just it's a journey that's going to have ups, it's going to have downs, it's going to have good, it's going to have bad. And it was almost like he was saying, I don't want to make you feel like this is going to be an easy road, or that this is going to be an easy journey. But a quest is something that has challenges. It has the good, it has the bad, and the in-between. So tell me a little bit about how you yourself would define a quest.
Well, he even says in the book even further, kind of where you were reading, he says the quests are big and they take more time and requires more commitment than just general life improvements. So it's even more than a lifestyle change, or it's more than just losing weight. But it's almost like the author painting quest as in things that we desire, like losing weight or saving money, that these are steps to a bigger purpose. I think that in our generation, we are the Google microwave generation. Things come quickly for us. You know what I mean? Like the tail end of our generation, man, don't even know what it is to have to go to a library, to look through encyclopedias, to have to write a paper. But I would define quest, to answer your question, as something that does not come absence of sacrifice. He even goes on to say that a quest is something that is special, that has specific goals and has a specific endpoint. And he says that not everyone will understand why you undertook the quest,
let's
that
let's stop there. Let's stop there for a second, because let's go through some of the criteria that he gives. It's one, and I see everybody talking about how he unpacked the gift. He was on a quest for knowledge. Awesome. I see all that. Great. But I want to kind of go through, and in the comment section, let's kind of go through your thoughts on what he kind of defines as a quest. To really just repeat what Menaway said, a quest has a clear goal and a specific endpoint. He defines it as a quest presents a clear challenge. And I like how he even gets into that in chapter number 3, which we'll talk about later. As far as the 12 spies, he breaks that down. A quest requires sacrifice of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a word that we like to hear a lot. Sacrifice. You were just talking about microwave generation, wanting it quick, but a quest, once again, we talk about it's not a lifestyle change. It's a long journey. It's going to require sacrifice. It says a quest is often by a calling or sense of mission. And last but not least, he says a quest requires a series of small steps and incremental progress toward the goal.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think that I think personally that anything that you have to work for, you appreciate more. I think that quest in and of itself deals with foundational work. And we tend to appreciate things that we have to work for. I can remember getting my first job and how ordering from McDonald's was much different. That when I was on my parents' dime, I would always get the same thing: the number 1 Big Mac, no pickles, super size with a high C orange. I wish they would bring that back. Well, I wish they would bring that orange drink back to McDonald's.
Bring the high C orange back.
I had not been back since. And I would always get that until I got my first job. And then it went to double cheeseburger, small fry, and a water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was different. My dad told me, he said, son, you remember, it's always different when you have to pay for it. And so what the author, causes me to go back to that moment of having to go back and reflect on having to earn it. And when you talk about quest, he defines it as something with clear challenges that you're on the right track of a quest whenever there's a clear challenge and everybody doesn't understand why you're on this quest. You know what I mean? Like there has to be clear obstacles in the way. And I think that's the basis of quests. And sometimes our biggest obstacle is ourselves. Sometimes we have to get over ourselves. We have to trump the internal battles that we have. Because most of the time when we say that, I don't know why we have so many, everybody has haters, and but whenever we talk about haters, or people always say it's not really people, it's really the enemy of your enemy that is holding you back. So sometimes the biggest obstacles on our quest to greater is ourselves.
Awesome. I think that even mentally getting ready for the quest, and it's not just us, but I really believe that there's even people connected to us who are on a quest right now. So I need everybody to follow the instructions on the page. Press the share button real quick. You're connected to somebody. You got friends, you got family members, you got a brother, you got a sister who needs to hear this information about the quest, whether it's a quest for higher education, whether it's a quest to do the business, whether it's a quest to travel, which seemed to be a big thing throughout the book. I want you to press the share button real quick because we want to discuss, and not just discuss, encourage people who are on a quest, who are on a lifelong journey, not to give up, not to throw in the towel, because as Menaway just said, those challenges are part of the quest. And I appreciate his honesty in the first chapter, because it allows you to mentally prepare yourself before you start the journey.
For sure.
And really not just prepare yourself, but also to have a conversation with yourself that I'm getting ready to go after something that may not be a quick return.
For sure.
I used to think, Menaway, don't laugh at me. I used to think as a child that talking to yourself meant you were a little crazy. I used to think as a child that talking to yourself meant that you just weren't wrapped too tight. But the older I get, I realize this: it's talking to myself that kept me from going crazy.
Yes, sir.
It's talking to myself that made sure that everything was operating correctly. And in
Yes,
order
sir.
to have a successful quest, you got to have a successful talk with yourself about not just where do I want to go, but telling yourself, reminding yourself that this is not going to be a quick journey. Let me just ask everybody in the comment section real quick, what is a quest that you're on right now? What is a journey, a lifelong pursuit that you have? Let's kind of, we've been dealing with it from a very general perspective, but let's get personal. I want to talk to those who've been reading this book. I want to talk to you all who are tuned in right now. What's a lifelong journey that you are currently pursuing? Type it in the comment section and let us know. Manaway, what's a lifelong journey, or what's a lifelong quest that you have?
Well, to
and we
answer your
appreciate you
question,
being on here. I see my sis. I appreciate the encouragement. We appreciate you being on here. Man,
yeah,
what's a
thank you so
lifelong
much.
quest that you're on right now?
Well, first, Louis, I just want to tell you that I too used to think one was crazy for talking to themselves.
Right.
As you just said so eloquently, man, I don't feel that way anymore because I seem to talk to myself often. But what I
Right.
found out was in talking to yourself and encouraging yourself, you're the only one that see what you saw. And you're the only one that heard what you heard. You're the only one, that was there when God called or pulled you or put you, in motion. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so I think I saw a meme at some time, either last year or the last 2 years, to stop having blind people proofread your vision. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you will be the only person that can encourage you because you're the only person that saw what God showed you. And that kind of
What's the
goes
song
in
say?
what he said.
Sometimes you gotta encourage yourself.
Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. You know what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
I
Like
wish
you
I could
said,
sing, but I can't.
you know what I mean? Not everyone will understand why you undertook the quest. So sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. Personally, I began jotting down things, man, when you hit me yesterday about the book of just like quests that I'm on. And ultimately my quest is I want to own 10 properties, man. I want 10 different properties.
Wow. Okay.
I want 10 different properties. I want by the time that I'm 50 years old, I want to make sure that my grandchildren will be debt free.
I
Like
love it.
those are the things, and I'm running out of time. I mean, that's coming up real quick, 19 years. I don't know how we got this close to 50 this fast, Lou. But but those are just some
let me read
things
this comment real
that
quick. It
I'm
says,
on, man.
let me read this comment real quick. It says, to bring joy, reconciliation, let people know that they don't need permission to move on from their mistakes. That's a wonderful quest. I want to get some
That's
more
great.
of you talking to us, engaging with us. What's a quest that you're on? Man, I cut you off. So keep going.
No, you're good, man. And another quest is to provide the gospel of Jesus Christ on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. I want the polar bear saved. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a personal quest of mine. That's really it for
He
now,
said he
bro.
wants the polar bear saved. The polar bears.
I mean, I want the polar bears saved, but that's a personal quest of
Man,
mine.
it's crazy that you said property, one of the quests that I'm on. And it's crazy because I think that people think because we're in ministry, our only quest is ministry related, right? So because, so here you talk about owning property and real estate. That's actually one of my quests. I want to purchase the apartment complex that I grew up in. I want to purchase it. I want to renovate it. After I renovate it, I want to add office space on it. And then, of course, open it up so people can rent their apartments. But I want to have an office in there to where we teach and we train people how to be financially responsible.
Yes, sir.
And how to get them to become homeowners. So I want to prepare a place for them that's nice.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to be a personal chef. I'm sorry. I said chef. Chief executive officer of my own time. I said chef. Chief executive officer of my own time. I love it. That's our brother, our YLC political correspondent, Marvin James. What's up, man?
Personal
But
quest.
I want to own it. I want to gut it out. I want to renovate it. But I want to have a spot in there where we teach people about finances. And and we help them to become homeowners. And I want it to become not just a property where people come and live forever. I literally want to have a place where you can come and stay.
Yes,
and
sir.
then I want to have an office where we get you out so that you're not renting the rest of your life. So to hear you talk about real estate, it's amazing because that's something that's near and dear to me as well. My quest is not just making money, but making good changes and doing, doing purpose and setting others up to succeed. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, as we kind of go out of chapter 1 and get into chapter 2, I want to hit one more thing about chapter 1. I liked how we talked about the great things and the great stories we're going to hear. But he let us know that it's not just these, extremely educated and wealthy people, but he goes even further to make sure that we know these are ordinary people. I want to read
Ordinary
something out
people.
of, come on, John Legend. It says their quest, and in many cases, their accomplishments were extraordinary, but for the most part, these individuals were successful not because of innate talent, but because their choice and dedication.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us a little bit about the power of choice and the power of dedication. And as you're talking, some of our new friends that came on, I need you to press that share button. But talk to us a little bit about the power of choice and the power of dedication.
Well, I'll answer it in a by way of a brief personal story, if I may. Growing up, man, I was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder and dyslexia. Fast forwarding to 8th grade, my exit exam from middle school to high school, my student advisor, the woman that was advising me as a student, leaving middle school, going into high school, said, Mr. Manaway, off the record, I would advise you to, when you become 16 years old, to emancipate yourself, drop out of high school, get a GED. Because according to our tests, your comprehension levels at a 3rd grade level, your reading levels at a 2nd grade level. And there's really no way, with dyslexia and your other challenges, you won't be able to keep up with high school. Long story short, fast forward, I turned 16, I don't drop out. I turned 18, graduate from high school. I didn't just graduate, I graduated with a cumulative 3.6 GPA. I graduated from high school with a cumulative 3.6 GPA. And on that wall over there, I have 3 college degrees.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? Now, I could have made the choice. And it's not because of me. It's because of the grace of God and because of parents who love me and encourage me. But even more than that, I could have made the decision to just drop out and to quit. But I was on this quest for better. I was on this quest not to settle. I was on this quest to want to be more and do more, to be able to show people later on who may have social anxiety disorder, who may be dyslexic, or just being an African American male in America, that you don't have to settle with being a statistic. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what people call you, it's more about what you answer to rather than what you're called. And so I was just on this quest for better. And I'm not special, kind of like what the author was saying. I don't have a cape under this sweatshirt. It was just, I made up my mind to do better and to want more for myself. And my mindset is, if God can give me the power as a teenager, then how much more can he allow me to do and accomplish as a 31-year-old man? You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing, man. Like, the Bible is littered. I mean, I know this is book club, but I mean, we are who we are, no matter where we are, right? You know what I'm saying? The Bible is littered with just regular people who did extraordinary things. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to just encourage somebody who may be watching us. Don't put a comma, don't put a period where God has put a comma. You know what I'm saying? You may feel ordinary. You may have come from an ordinary background, ordinary neighborhood. There's not much to you or not much for you, but don't let that hold you back from your quest or being all that you can be.
Man, I ain't got nothing to say after that. Bro, I appreciate you. I thank you. And if you're going to be on the quest with the whole book, man, we may have to bring you on again to talk about some of these later chapters in our future weeks. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Man, the pleasure's
not
all
just
mine,
for
bro.
the testimony, but thank you for your transparency as well. because everybody's pressing share, and because this is showing up on thousands of timelines everywhere. We don't know who we're touching, who we're contacting, and I'm positive that what you just said encouraged somebody. So thank you, brother, for coming on and discussing chapter 1 with us.
My guy, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. And thank Elder Mark Moore, too, for giving us the platform to share and everything like that. You know, YLC,
yes, sir.
My YLC community, I love you all. Y'all take care. Thanks, bro.
Awesome. You have a good one. Wow. I mean, that, if man, somebody just type, I'm encouraged. If you were encouraged by what Manaway just said about his testimony, just type in the comment section real quick. I'm encouraged. I hope that even with our book club, we're not just gaining information, but you're going to read something in these books to push you, to inspire you, and to encourage you. But not just in these books, in our time together here at our book club, I want that to be encouraging as well. I'm encouraged. Well, love it. I'm encouraged. Love it. I'm encouraged. Love it. Awesome. Well, we're going out of What a Testimony. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. That's my brother and friend. I didn't even know. I'm encouraged. Thank you, Joya. Praying for you, sis. I'm encouraged. Great. I'm encouraged that we successfully discussed chapter 1. Let's go ahead and ease into chapter number 2. Chapter number 1 was called The Awakening. Chapter number 2 is called The Great Discontent. The Great Discontent. Let me bring on my brother, my friend, to help us get into chapter number 2. My brother, Tim Dunham. We're going to go ahead and bring him on as well at this time. What's going on, my friend? Awesome. Now, listen, brother, I'm so glad to have you here, but I can't hear you. Make sure you're not on mute. Mute. And even out there, let me know if you can hear him. Let me make sure it's not just me. Let's try it again. I still can't hear you, brother. We're going to try it again. Yep, go out and come back in. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear him. Let me know if you were able to hear him before we bring him back on here. Let's see. Can you hear him? I'm looking at my comments now. We're going to close that. Well, as we're getting ready for chapter number 2, it's called The Great Discontent. The Great Discontent. No, have him. All right, when you come back in, take the ear pods off. It's our first week. Y'all show us some grace.
All right,
our first week.
Back in. Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Right.
How you doing, man?
I'm great, bro. How you doing?
Man, after the encouragement I just got from Pastor Manaway, I feel like I could run on a little longer.
Yes.
So we're easing ourselves into chapter number 2. I want to thank you for coming on and joining us. Let's just kind of have an open discussion real quick. What were your thoughts and what were some of the highlights that stood out to you for chapter number 2? And wow, we got new people coming on all the time. Thank you. New people, we got one requirement when you come on here. 2, 1, share, 2, go subscribe. So as he's talking, all of our new audience members press the share button. So Tim, let's kind of, I'm going to just throw it to you. What's kind of a general theme? And in the comment section, let us know as well what you thought about chapter number 2.
I thought chapter 2 was great, man. Really good content. The author, I think he segues very well into chapter 2, talking about the great discontent. There's a lot, man. I have notes all over the place just reading through chapter 2 because I think there was just such good content. He used great examples. And just some of the things I saw, even at the beginning, just the quote from Thomas Edison: "Discontent is the first necessity of progress."
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you how much it blessed me. Look, I gotta underline myself.
Exactly.
So, give me your thoughts on that. Discontent is the first necessity of progress. Just talk. I mean, we haven't even got into chapter 2 yet. But that first quote was so dope.
Right.
since I highlighted it and you talking about it, what do you think about that?
I think it's phenomenal. Well, because here's the thing, man. You know, when we talk about discontent, it's a requirement for any type of forward progress. We talk about how, you know, you have to have friction to get results. And so for him to bring that as a first quote, I think he really kind of sets up where he leads throughout the chapter. And I think, man, just discontent, you know, it's that place where, you know, something's not complete. You have that space where you're like, he says it even here in the writing, you know, there must be more. In the first paragraph, he says that there must be more to life than this. And, you know, have you ever felt a strange sense of alienation? I like that he just kind of he jumps right in, man. He doesn't hold no bars. He goes right in. And he uses this first segment, if you will, of chapter 2 to just kind of set up for the stories and examples that he kind of lays out later on.
Let's deal with that. Let's deal with that because you said you had notes all over the place. I love that. So let's kind of walk through chapter 2. Let's kind of start and walk through because we first hear about Sandy
Wheaton, right?
Sandy and Tom.
Right.
So Sandy,
Right.
she's working at, I believe, GM, right? She's working at GM.
Yeah, she's
there
Motors,
for about 12 years. And then she gets the news that, unfortunately, many people right now have got, or that they received, that we got to let you go.
Right.
And because of being let go at GM, she had a good job, a good paying job.
Right.
And I like that. It says, can we pause and celebrate that we're watching Black men spend their Saturday afternoon discussing and breaking wow. Listen, this is what YLC is all about. Leaders and readers,
Yes,
breaking every stereotype, and we're excited about it. So Sandy, she loses her job,
Right.
and now she has this decision.
Right.
She has this decision. Okay,
Correct.
am I going to be like everybody else and hurry up and get another job, or am I going to kind of deal with this discontentment, this fact that? And I want to read this part here. It says, Sandy enjoyed the work, but felt that she was sacrificing herself,
Right.
devoting her best energy to the studio in corporate America instead of adventure that tugged at her heart.
Right.
Man, and so she made a decision.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just do kind of what everybody else has done and try to get a job. I'm going to take some time and go after my dream. And then she pursues this quest, this dream of traveling America on the famous Route 66. So talk to me about some of the lessons, some of the gems, some of the information that you got out of that.
What I pulled from that, you know, there's actually a section here. She says, they said that she had to take a look deeper, you know, and I think that was powerful because so often when we're faced with a dilemma or, you know, we have that space where we have to make a choice, you can stay in the shallow place and never look deeper. I like that highlight of looking deeper. It causes us to actually analyze and look into, okay, why am I in this space? You know, what can I do to better myself from this space? And I love that that's highlighted here. And then even for her to take that leap, right? She had to overcome the fear of the unknown. That's another big word that we often talk about. Is you have to face that fear of, okay, I've never done this before. You know, she had never gone on this quest through Route 66. She had never done that. It was something that she had always, you know, dreamed of doing. But for her to take that leap, it was the fact that discontentment was there as a catalyst to push her into that space. To actually go ahead and take the quest. So, and
even as you're talking about understanding that being discontent is not a bad thing.
Correct.
But as you just said, digging deeper and asking myself, why am I not satisfied? Right. You know, why? I mean, we're in quarantine right now.
Right.
Things aren't great, but my bills are paid. And, you know, my situation is a little better than others. And yet and still, I'm not content. Why? And then when you answering that why, kind of going on that that honest conversation with yourself on why does that discontentment reside within me? Correct. And then what can I do? What can I do to move forward? And what can I do to satisfy that discontentment? Now, we have two examples because Sandy, those who read the book, you know that she had a job and she lost the job. But then we have another character here, Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
I believe God uses being discontent to keep us from being I love that.
Yeah.
I believe so. And even, it's almost the reason why money cannot always be your pursuit, because when you get more money, you're going to want more money. So, when you get more success, you're going to want more success. So I do believe that God kind of places that in us to keep us moving forward, and ultimately so that the only time we're content is when we're in Him. But this ain't services, the book, so we're going to go back. So talk to me about time, because Sandy had the job, lost the job, and decided to pursue this quest of traveling America. Tom does not have a job, right?
Right.
Tom is in search for a job. He gets a call about a job, and then he turns it down.
Turns it down, right.
He turned it down. And let's go to let's just talk. What do you think about Tom's story? What do you think about Tom's story?
Well, when you first look at it, you'd be like, man, this dude is kind of irresponsible. Here it is. He's had that opportunity, like you said, to get the job. He turns it down, but there was something on the inside of him. As he kind of talks about, he just wouldn't let it go. He knew that there was more, and he had this, as he says, the idea was ludicrous, and almost non-existent. He had to plan this cycling experience to travel, and I think that's something that's powerful for us, even in our generation. Sometimes you have to begin to listen to those moments in those spaces when things seem, okay, this is ridiculous, but it's on your heart for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's there. It's present for a reason. It's not something that's going away. And so, I think this was a phenomenal story too, man. Just a great example of, he goes on this journey, and then, he tags some friends along with him. And on the journey, as he's going, he even loses some of those friends. It's just, there's so much rich content in this reading.
It's so rich. But one thing that I want to do, we're at 23. We're at our Michael Jordan number watching this. I want us to go to Scottie Pippen at least. I need everybody watching to press that share button one more time, so we can get these views up. Because I really want to hear about these stories of individuals who really kind of added the risk factor, and that gets into chapter number 3.
Yeah. But
they added that risk factor. So here's my thing. And those who read the book in the comment section, let me know. Let me know. That's good. Okay. I'm only seeing one side. So between both locations, we had Kevin Durant. Amen. So let's go. I would love to hit 50 on both locations.
Okay.
I would love to hit 50. Let's do it. We're going to hit 50 between both locations if you press the share button now. I think, though, Tim, we got to have a discussion about balance.
Right. That's, yeah. Absolutely.
About balance. Because, and in the comment section, let me know, how do we balance having discontentment, being discontent, and having this dream, having this goal, having this desire, having this vision, and on the same side, balancing it with our daily responsibilities. Because one thing that go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
So, because one thing that I want to know, and maybe they'll get into this as the book, as we continue in the book and we continue reading. But my question is, how do they finance all this stuff?
Right, come on.
We got folks leaving their job and just traveling the world.
Yeah,
exactly. We got Tom who needs a job. He turns the job down just to get on his bicycle.
Right.
And I'm like, this dude is stupid.
Right. Exactly. It's funny you say that.
Go ahead.
I got 3 kids, beautiful wife, and
I got 3 kids and a beautiful wife as well. So let's have this between 2 black men. With children who are married. How can we balance this desire to go after it, and the same fact that we can't? Mark said Tom can do what
Tyrone. That's right.
This is true. I think Tom and Tyrone they live in different neighborhoods. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you're absolutely. It's a challenge, and I'll be honest with you. Reading this really hit me and challenged me in a place that I'm like, I'm actually in this space where I'm like, okay, God's blessed me with this career.
Oh, Tim, wait, time, pause out. I'm stretching my hand towards my brother. He said, I got 5 children and a wife.
I see that.
We may have to have you do a Facebook Live on parenting,
Right.
managing 5 little people. But go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was saying that you know, it's one of those things, man, where it's this reading actually hit me in my own space where you know, trying to balance a career and family and all this stuff, you know, but there are dreams and passion that God has put in my heart, and you know, you have to really wrestle with that. And you said it earlier, it's the word balance. How do we balance that in a space that it's healthy? That we are making forward progress. And, you know, for me, to be honest, I've had spaces where I felt like, man, am I just stuck, you know, getting up, going to my 9 to 5, you know, I'm providing for my family, but there's this discontent that I have where I know that there's more. I know that, you know, God has put a higher level of moving into something more. And so what has helped me is being transparent with those that are close, having those conversations with my wife and friends, and allowing those spaces to just kind of open up your processing and thinking to go beyond where you currently are. And I'm grateful for that I have those, you know, that I can connect to. And that's not always, you know, the answer. But for me, it is a challenge. It's a challenge, man, because like you said, I can't just get up and go take a cycling trip, you know, across the country right now because
looking like I'm crazy.
You know, right? My wife will kill me right now. So,
right.
But it is one of those things that it causes you to analyze and to look at it. Okay, how does this fit my current, you know, situation where I currently are? How can I pursue these things in my current space?
Man, I agree 100%. And I got good news from headquarters. We're almost to that 50 mark between both locations. We're at 41 right now. So I need y'all to, if you already shared, take the link and send it, put it in the group chat, send it to 10 friends, everybody. But let's get to that 50 all at one on here. I like that because I think, and you can give me your opinion. And wait. I got all these intelligent, amazing people watching this right now. Let me hear from y'all in the comment section. How can we balance our desire to pursue our destiny, a vision we have, and our responsibility? So how can we balance it? I want to hear from the comment section. I want to have a bunch of shares, but I want to have a bunch of comments as well. How can we balance both? I believe that the way that we have to do that, we got to sacrifice.
Yes.
One of the things that I think that we value too much, I may get in trouble right here. I may get in trouble right here. But I'm going to say it. It may be a little controversial. We may have a disagreement between me and you. It may be a disagreement between me and the comment section. It may be a disagreement between me and those who watch later. I think one thing that we value too much is rest.
Okay. All right.
Now, rest is needed. So let me back. But I think that everybody wants to get their 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Everybody wants to, get, all this time of personal time and go get your massage. But if you really want to see that vision manifest, in this book, he talks about not sleeping. Man. He talks about sleeping under a tree in the opening section of the book about how, he's sleeping under it. He had to make all these sacrifices, all these adjustments because he was so dedicated to the quest. Yes. Could it be that some of us are going to get to the end of our life and realize we never met our quest because we got too much rest?
Wow. Come on, Doc.
I don't want to get to, I don't want the reason to be when I get to heaven and I have a conversation with God. I don't want to be, son, I had so much planned for you.
Right.
I had so much that I wanted you to do, but you fell in love with sleep.
Yeah.
And that's not to minimize it. So I know I'm going to get some pushback, but we're going to have to sacrifice some rest, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Man, that's a really good point because just recently here, we just lost on my wife's side, my grandfather, who this man, I'm telling you, just that era and that generation, you see the work ethic on a whole nother level. This man was a firefighter. He was a teacher. He did so much. And I asked myself, God, how was this man able to do all of this in a lifetime? And he just had that. I mean, it was in his bones, the sacrifice to work hard. He rested, but it was like, I'm gonna rest when I die. I think somebody put that in the comments already. He said, "I'll rest when I die." He just went on to be with the Lord just a couple of weeks ago. But he really encouraged us to really push for that destiny and the passion that God's put in us. To pursue everything that God wants us to. I think right now we're in a space, especially with this pandemic, where people have to really take a look and analyze, okay, how do we take this space that God has given us to maximize the gifts that are on the inside of us?
Right. And no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. So
dealing with that discontent, I want to read a passage here from the book. I think it's the one that you were quoting earlier, page 33. Mm-hmm. It says, I found the real answer. This is dealing with why. Why did people go after their quest? Why did people go after their vision, their calling? I found the real answer as I dug deeper into the mix of frustration and inspiration that drives action. Most of the people I talked to in one way or another had been dissatisfied with their normal lives.
Yes.
So it's first, let everybody that's watching understand, you're not the only one who's not satisfied being normal.
Right.
YLC is filled with individuals who have no desire to be average, who have no desire to be normal, who have no desire to be like everybody else. And digging deeper allows us to find that. But then as we go a few pages further, it gives us that equation.
Right. I like that part.
The equation for the quest, or the equation for this new adventure. And it says dissatisfaction plus a big idea plus a willingness to take action equals I think the biggest piece in there is the willingness to take action.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think the push in this second chapter is not just to sit back and to have this big idea or this big quest or whatever, but really taking some action.
Right.
Faith without works is dead. We know that.
That's it. Right. We know that. Yeah.
So adding that action piece to it to see the result that you desire. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. It's essential. Without action, you're having good thoughts or happy thoughts, if you will. But I like that he highlights that, and that equation was big for me too. I have that highlighted and marked up. It is essential to moving forward. It's essential to pursuing a quest. If you don't have that, it's not exist. Like I said, you're just sitting there without making any progress. And I like the fact that he actually highlights. He goes back and just kind of takes each story. He shows Tom's action plan, and then he shows it just kind of through each example what they did, what their event was, their value, the big idea, Sandy's action plan. I love that because it really kind of ties it all together for us. So it's not just, I'm just reading, but I'm getting actual applicable content that I can practically apply. And I love that about this reading.
I love it too. And let's encourage our sister real quick. She said, I'm missing the willingness to take action. I want to encourage you that you're not the only person who's missing that right now. It's not always easy, but you gotta, we talked about encouraging yourself, me and Pastor Manaway in chapter 1, but in chapter number 2, it's like, you gotta learn how to motivate yourself as well. And you have to find the thing that motivates you. Right. We're all motivated by different thoughts. I'm motivated. Movies motivate. Documentaries motivate me. I watch documentaries about people that y'all probably have never heard before. Wow, I'd rather be a wet disciple rather than a dry man. I think, Jesus closed the book. That's what Manaway keeps doing to us here.
Right. He's setting it down right now. Yeah,
but I would say to my sister, find what motivates you and then overdose on it.
Come on.
No matter how weird it may. One thing that y'all gonna laugh. I'm not gonna say it because y'all gonna laugh at me. But there's some crazy stuff that motivates me. Man. It's weird. It's a little don't make sense. But I know if I do this, I'm gonna be motivated to keep going. I'm gonna be motivated to not stop. So even within that, find what makes you motivated and then overdose on it, right?
Correct. That's
right?
good.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, speaking to what we were just talking about, the motivation. There's a line here. The author writes, discontent may be the instigator.
Hey, we got to stop real quick. We got to stop.
Yep.
We got to take a praise break. We just hit 50. We just hit 50. We just hit 50.
Solid.
Hey, I still, we hit 50, but I got a little discontentment. I got a little discontentment because I would love to get to 75. I mean,
there you go.
I mean, really, I would love to get to 100, but we're going to take it in steps because he talked about how a quest, you got to have incremental steps. But let's not even shoot for 75 yet. I'll be happy with 60. I'll be happy with 60. I'll be happy with 60. Let's press that share button and keep going. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was saying discontent may be the instigator, but what is the motivator? He kind of asked that question in there.
Yeah, that's what he gets.
Someone to take action, and I love that we're talking about that right now, because like you were saying, you gotta find, and it may be the most outlandish, crazy. You may think that this doesn't make sense. There's no way in my mind this makes sense, but you just got to go for that thing sometimes and really allow, as you walk in that path, God will unfold for you, exactly how it's supposed to look. But if you never take that step, you never make that initiation, you'll never know. And I think that was a consistent theme for each character through these stories, is they had to make that step. And then that caused them. And I like, even in Tom's story, he found out things about himself he didn't even know. Like he learned different ways of how to manage and sustain himself, as he traveled throughout the country. And I think it's all about, as the book is talking about, the journey, right? This journey, it's a process. It's not something that we have all the answers to going in, or that we have all the answers to even when we get midway. It's an ongoing process, and as we are allowing ourselves to go through it. It's what I'm thankful for is that we have this opportunity, even right now in the pandemic, to really come out of this thing so much better. I mean, I found, just so much time with my family. We've been riding bikes and just little the little things sometimes that you get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life that you forget. Man, these little things matter, and they make a difference in that whole process.
Man, I think this has been a great discussion on chapter 2. Before I go into chapter number 3, what's your closing statement? What's your closing remarks? Give me like a 60-second closing statement concerning chapter number 2.
So don't let discontentment be an enemy of yours. It's a part of the process. Own it. Allow that discomfort to really push you to another space. And that's something, even for myself, just to share a little bit. My wife is a phenomenal woman. I'm thankful to God for her. I've been gifted with a wonderful woman.
Brag on her, man. Brag on her.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. And one thing that I can say is for her, when she's in a space where she's the discontent set in, she like bears into it, because it allows for her to really just process it, go through it. And we've made some huge changes in our lives based on those spaces and times. And as I reflect back, it was the discontent that really has allowed us to progress and move in different spaces in our life. So I encourage you, whoever you are listening, you chimed in, don't let discontent push you away. It should be something that you embrace. As the author kind of I like the angle and the way in which the author brings it across. It's for us to embrace, and it helps us on that journey to that quest to really pursue the thing that's our destiny that God's put in us. So thank you, man. I'm so grateful that you guys took time. Elder Moore, thank you for the space. And this is good stuff. I love my YLC family. God bless you all. I'm enjoying the reading, man. This is great.
Man, if you're enjoying it, keep reading, and we're going to have to bring you back as you continue the journey with us, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Listen, chapter 1, the awakening, chapter 2, the great contentment. Now we get to chapter number 3, where we're dealing with the calling. Let me just pause real quick, because I don't want to get no hate mail. I don't want to get no protesters. I had 2 amazing sisters who were going to join me on here as well, but one was already booked, The other got a little ill. So next week, I promise you, we're going to have some ladies on here with us. But because of that, yeah, we got to go through chapter 3 with just me and you. Me and us. It's we. We got to go through this together. So I'm really going to need some engagement from the comment section because I'm going to go through chapter 3 by myself. So I need to have a conversation. And I know I dealt with it in chapter 1, how talking to yourself can be encouraging and motivating. But I really don't want to sit here and look in this camera and talk to myself. I want to have a conversation, a dialogue back and forth. So if you're ready to get into chapter number 3, just type, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. We here, let's go. I love it. I love it. I love it. We get into chapter number 3, and I got excited. I got excited on chapter number 3. Just the title, the calling. The calling. I got excited about that. And he starts off here dealing with the 12 spies, dealing with Numbers 13. And what he's really dealing with here is how, 10 people, 10 spies had a negative report because they were getting ready to go into the promised land, right? So they're getting ready to go into the promised land. They send the spies out. 10 come back and say, man, there's giants over there. We can't do this. But then there's 2. Y'all know the Bible story. It's not in the Bible. It's in the book as well. And this is what he says. He says, the possibility of danger outweighs the promise of hope. I love it. I love it. What he says here, that the reason why Joshua and Caleb were able to have, the reason why the 10 spies came back with a negative response is because they allowed the possibility of danger to outweigh the promise of hope. The promise of hope. The thing that I really feel like the author was trying to get to us here is let us know, and we're talking, but as we're talking, I still need you to press that share button. As we're talking, I still need you to send the link to your friends because I really would love to hit that 60 mark. We were at 50. I would love to hit that 60 mark before we leave today. But I think what he's trying to point out to us is that quests are not danger-free. There is going to be some type of risk. There's going to be some type of danger. And the biggest danger that we have to overcome as we're pursuing our dream, pursuing our vision, pursuing our promised land. And promised land looks different for everybody. Let me pause. What does your promised land look like? Let me ask you that question. I told you that chapter 3 is just me. That we got to have a conversation going back and forth. So I want to ask you, what does your promised land look like? My promised land, it's not just milk and honey, but my promised land has a beautiful house for my wife and children. It has an extremely successful ministry that is functioning and operating at multiple locations. It has me being in contact with highly influential people and being able to speak life into them and to do it. My promised land has me living debt-free. My promised land has me doing something. What does your promised land look like? Let's try to make it a little more personal. And I'll read some of your responses as they come up on the screen here. So it's letting us know that just because you have this quest does not mean that it's going to be risk-free. This is why that we as people who are from the faith-based community, believers, understand that we walk by faith, not by sight. Because just because, and let me say this, stop looking for a quest that's easy. Woo, that's good. Stop looking for a quest or a journey or a mission that's easy. One of my favorite movie is Troy. It's dealing with the Greek god Achilles. We'll get to Achilles here. And the opening scene in Troy, this is what happens. Oh man, I may have to get it on here to show you one day. But they're out to battle. And the one army, they bring out this big giant, this diesel-looking dude. And the other army, which Achilles is a part of, he says, go get Achilles to fight him. So they send this young boy. The young boy's running. He's running to get Achilles. And when he gets him, he says, hey, you got to go fight. Blase, blase, blase. And as Achilles is getting ready, the movie made you mad? Why? Oh, because at the end, understand. But the beginning is dope. The beginning is dope. And the young boy is giving Achilles, he's giving him his helmet to put on as he is getting on the horse to go to battle. And the kid says this. He says, the giant that you're about to fight, he's the biggest man I've ever seen. And if I were you, I would not want to fight him. Achilles, his response is cold-blooded. Achilles responds and says, this is why no one will remember your name. Oh, man, that's cold-blooded. So we got the child, and the child is looking like there's no way in the world I would go fight him. Achilles looks back at him and says, I guess he liked this movie too. He says, and that's why nobody will remember your name. I want to challenge everybody that's watching right now and will be watching later to pursue a quest that will force other people to know your name. The Bible says that he'll make your name great. Don't choose a quest or a vision or a mission that's easy. Choose something. Let me pause. Maybe we should do a movie club too. Maybe we should do the book and the movie club. Maybe let me talk. Let me talk to the leadership here and see what we can make happen. But his perception was the reason why I want to conquer something great is so that people can remember my name. Now we know as believers we want to do something great so that God can get the glory, right? So the reason why we want to have this great quest, this great mission, this great vision is so that individuals can know that God is great. I want to challenge everybody on here to go after a quest or vision that once you attain it or once you're successful with it, people who know you will say, man, God must be real. Man, God must have their back. Man, God's hand must be on their life. No more simple tasks. You're a reader. You're a leader. No more simple tasks. So he deals with that and to let us know that quests are not danger-free. But then he talks about his friend Scott. Scott was after years of debauchery as a New York City nightclub promoter, he found his calling while bouncing around a Land Rover on the muddy roads in Liberia. There's a whole world without clean water, Scott realized. And he wanted to find a way to bring it to them. And it talks about Scott because there was this, it says, it all began with him responding to that pool. Responding to that pool. So the question is, what is the pool that's on the inside that you're a little afraid of? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What's that pool on the inside of you that you know it's a call to greatness? You know it's a call to do something crazy, to do something amazing. I need y'all pressing the share button for me. But there's a little bit of fear or worry. And what I think really, just as we talked about quests and up and downs, the biggest thing that I want you guys to get is to be successful in this quest, we have to conquer our fear of failure. We have to conquer our fear of failure. You can't let the fear of, man, what if I try to start the business and it fails? Or what? I mean, you gotta use wisdom, you gotta be wise, but do not allow the fear of failure to stop you. So we get with Caleb, we get with Scott. Scott now has this vision of making sure that there's clean water for everybody. And this pool is on the inside of him and he can't shake it, right? So we get in that. And even as we continue going, we deal with John Francis. Did anybody read about John Francis? I was reading his story and shaking my head and not fully understanding. But John Francis was, I'm trying to find, it says in 1971, 2 oil tankers collided in San Francisco, spilling 500,000 gallons of crude oil into the waters of the Golden Gate Bridge. John was angry and saddened by the oil spill, but he also felt frustrated. What can one person do? So he had this desire to make the environment clean, the environment safe. And my brother just started walking everywhere, right? I didn't get John's quest. He walked everywhere. Not only did he start walking everywhere, as you keep reading, you find out that he also got quiet. So he started walking everywhere so that he did not use his car. Because the exhaust, he wanted to make the environment clean, the environment safe. He walked 5 hours one day to go hear some people play. I want to stay in shape. I do not want to be the fat preacher. I want to do everything I can. But I tell you this, I'm not walking no 5 hours anywhere. Albeit I'm in a foreign country and the gospel is being preached and we have to travel a long way to go to hear the word. Outside, I'm not traveling 5 hours for any type of concert. And I was thinking, why would he walk all the time? Did anybody else feel like that reading about John Francis? Walk all the time, then he got quiet. But then it hit me. That was his quest. It was not my quest. That was his quest. And because of that, your quest, your calling, or your pursuit, it may not make sense to everybody, but it needs to make sense to you. So even as you're finding out your quest, this big idea, this big dream, this big vision, don't take the easy route, but at the same time, don't look for everybody else to agree with what you're doing as well. She said, I don't think I'll ever be mad enough to walk 40 miles to and from a party, but go, John, go. But go, John, go. I don't see it ever happening in my life, but hey. But the point I think the author was trying to make to us is, as crazy as it sounded to us, it made sense to him. So we're not choosing the easy route. We're not choosing the easy road. And the second thing is, we're not trying to choose something that makes sense to everybody else. Hey, that's what I got. Maybe y'all got something better, something, a greater revelation. Take the road that's traveled. I love that. But John, it didn't make sense to me. But the point I got was, hey, the dream that I have to buy my old apartment complex, to renovate it, and to have people move back in, that may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. What makes sense to you? What pushes you? What drives you? And then it has a quote here from Bob Dylan. We know him from the Rolling Stone magazine. It says, in an interview for Rolling Stone, Bob Dylan was asked about the word calling. Everybody has a calling, he said. Some have a high calling, some have a low calling. Everybody is called, but few are chosen. You know, when I heard that, I went straight to preacher mode. But I think we get that passage messed up. I want to close here. I want to close here. The interview with Bob Dylan, he talks about the high calling and the low calling. And then he quotes, "For many are called, but few are chosen." That's a famous, Bible story. It's Matthew. I believe it's 22. I thought I wrote it down. I think it's Matthew 22. And the king has a son who's getting ready to be married. He's preparing the feast. He tells him, "Hey, go and invite these individuals." They invite them. They come back and say, "No, we're too busy. We can't come." They go back and forth. And then it said, "All right, just go and invite everybody because we got the best meat. We got the best drink. We got all this going on here." And then it says, "Many are called, but few are chosen." When you go and read that, go read Matthew 22, verse 1 through 10. What you'll find out in that text is that it has nothing to do with a high calling and a low calling, and it has everything to do with some responded to the call and some did not. Listen to me. When Bob Dylan in the interview with Rolling Stone, he talks about a high calling and a low calling, and then he quotes, many are called, few are chosen. That does not mean that God has this select few of people who, he calls some and no. What it means is God has called everybody to a quest. Let's bring this to the close. As we've been reading in this book, everybody has a specific quest that God has called them to, but only some people are going to respond to the call. What makes you called or chosen has nothing to do with you being special or not. And it has everything to do with you accepting the call to go on a quest to do something that eye has not seen, that ear has not heard. I want to challenge everybody who's watching us today to accept the call. Yeah, we're going to close right here. I want to challenge everybody listening right now, everybody who's going to come in later. Matter of fact, before we end, just press that share button one more time. I want to challenge everybody to accept the call. What makes you special is that you accepted the call. What makes you special is that you accepted the call. I just believe by faith that I'm talking to a bunch of individuals right now who are not just reading about the happiness of pursuit, who's not just discussing with me their quest and where they're going to go. I'm believing by faith that I'm talking to a bunch of young leaders right now who are going to accept the call. That's what makes you special. You accepting the call to go on this quest and to do something great for the glory of God. All right, everybody good? Man, I had a blast. Y'all was going with me in the comments for chapter number 3. I appreciate those. Yeah. We're getting ready to close out. We're getting ready to end our session today. Next week, we are going to be going over chapters 4, 5, and 6. We're going to go over chapters 4, 5, and 6. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited about next week. Thank you to all of our YLC community. Tim was talking about his wife, bragging on his wife. My wife has left a comment, and they put it up for me. One of my favorite preach points that you have ever stated. Thank you so much, love. But get the book if you have not already. Pick it up. You can get it from Barnes & Noble. They'll do a curbside pickup. That's how I got the physical copy. You can go to Kindle and download it. But we'll be doing 4, 5, and 6 next week. I may bring on our political correspondent, Mr. Marvin James. I appreciate the support. I've been seeing the comments. I may bring you on, bro, next week. If you're available to discuss one of those chapters, let me know. Did you enjoy yourself? Let me know. Good job. Excellent. I like to hear that. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Oh man, they got my Cash App. It says, "Did you enjoy?" I'm gonna read that. Did you enjoy? Feel free to bless Lewis Pollard. Listen, if you want to bless me, I'll receive it. I'll sure enough take it. But I also want you to invest in and support YLC. $ Explore YLC. Go give them something. You heard the announcement this week about the praise break that's going down to August. We're excited about it. So I'm getting ready to go off. Press share. Be encouraged. Accept the call. I want to end with that. Accept the call to greatness. Accept the call to your quest. Accept the call to your journey. And accept the call to meet me next Saturday at 1 p.m. as we discuss chapters 4 through 6. Press share. Subscribe. Leave a comment. I'll see you next week. Peace.